everyone. Oh, hi everyone who's watching. Please let me know if you can hear me. I haven't done this before. I'm hoping that you can hear me when I'm talking. Just can someone like write a comment and just say like, "Hey, we hear you." Thank you for joining. Hi everyone. I should probably write something in the comments. Okay, cool. Okay, good. Hello, everyone. Please let me know where you're watching from and how your day has been. I'm not sure. I think probably everyone is watching from different places in the world. So let me know where you're watching from and what you've been doing so far today. I have a few things I have planned to talk about in this live, but I'm open for questions or comments or topics to talk about. England! Cool! I've been to England once actually, like 2011. I went there for a few days. The only day I went to London it was rainy, of course. Netherlands, that's cool. I've been wanting to go to the Netherlands since reading Fault in Our Stars. I don't know if you know that book by John Green. And they go to Amsterdam, and it seems like the best place ever. Malaysia, cool. I love your accent when you speak English. That makes me really happy. I could listen to Malaysian people speak English all the time. Spain, hola, me llamo Johanna. ¿Cómo estás? That's all I can say. Thank you for joining. Oh, thank you for joining. Hey, everyone who is just joining. I'm just asking everyone, where are you watching from and how your day has been? So please leave a comment to let me know where you're from and how your day's been, and anything else you want to say, just say hello. I had a good time in England. I ate fish and chips, and I learned some good card games. And we went to a pyre, and it was called Western Supermare. Like, I think a pretty small area. I'm from Sweden, but I'm living in Japan at the moment. I'm gonna have a little like self-introduction in a few minutes when I guess some more people have joined, because I do think that some people might not know me that well yet. US, yeah, I'm sorry. I tried to make this. I tried to like plan this live stream a bit later Japanese time, because I know that it would be hard for everyone to fit their schedule with the time difference. And I know that America is like pretty early in the morning, so I'm sorry about that. Australia, how are you? You look so cute. Thank you, Mi-chan. モッサー、ヘイはキュロセでよくそう。大阪、すごい日本人の方を見てるみたいですね。基本的にはこのライブは英語で話したいと思ってるんですけど、日本語で質問しても大丈夫です。日本語で質問が来たら日本語で答えます。Sorry, I just had a little message for my Japanese viewers. Oh yeah. I had a good time in England. Leah. Yeah, let me know if you come to Tokyo. Let's plan something then. I would like to meet you again soon. Osaka, ine. I have a friend who's visiting Kansai right now, and I think she's going to visit Osaka as well, like in a few days. Oh, whoa. I'm so happy that you're joining. Okay, so I have a few things to like plan to talk about. So this live will have some kind of flow. And the first thing I guess I want to do is a little self-introduction. I don't know how many of my videos you guys have been watching, and so I don't know how much you actually know about me. So I'm going to start off with a small self-introduction. So hi everyone, my name is Johanna. For anyone who's watched my YouTube video about how to pronounce names in Japanese and whatever, I think you all know by now how my name is pronounced, but my name is Johanna. I am 24 years old as of last month, and I am from Sweden, but I'm currently living in Japan. I'm living in Kanagawa right now, which is the prefecture right under Tokyo. I'm living in the southern part, which means that I live very close to the beach. And if any of you follow me on Instagram, you probably know by now from my posts from the last few days that I live close to the beach. I am a university student at the moment. I'm a second-year student studying in a Japanese university. I'm studying media and communication, and I'm studying basically everything in Japanese. And yeah, I've been in Japan for 4 years in total. I lived my first 10 months in Kumamoto in southern Japan as a high school exchange student. I lived with the host family and went to Japanese high school. And then a few years later, I came back to Fukuoka, which is right next to Kumamoto, and I started language school. And the experiences I had in my language school is basically what I based my YouTube channel on, and that is something that I focus a lot on making videos about. And yeah, I graduated my language school last year in March, and then in April, I moved up to Kanagawa to start university up here. So that's kind of my Japan journey and a little self-introduction about me, or my self-introduction. If you have any questions about me or what I'm doing in Japan, please leave them in the comments. And I'm hoping to have this live stream be like me talking about what I plan to talk about, and also me answering your questions. And yeah, the reason why I'm making this live stream is to like communicate with you more and to, yeah, I guess just have a conversation and see who's actually watching my video. So please leave a comment, tell me anything. Like I said, tell me about your day, maybe tell me something you like about Japan. If you've ever visited Japan, what did you like there? Yeah, let's have some conversation in the comments. I hope that I will be able to have a conversation with you and not just me talking. Konnichiwa, o genki desu ka? Yes, that's perfect. Genki desu. I am very genki. Oh, Dominican Republic. I slept at 4 a.m. Why? I have a lot of friends who go to sleep really late too. But I'm the kind of person, I guess I would like to fall asleep like 11 or 11:30 every day, but I always end up sitting on my phone too late. So I always end up being falling asleep, I guess, a little later. But thank you for joining anyways. 8 a.m. Mm-hmm. Aikido. Oh, that's so cool. You're doing Aikido? That's so cool. I did jiu-jitsu when I was younger for a couple of years, but I quit, unfortunately. I should have kept going, but if I have, because I started when I was like 8 or something, I would have been a pro by now, but yeah. Hello, Benno H. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Hi. Okay, so while getting some comments, I thought I could just kind of talk about my day. I have officially finished my spring semester of my university. I turned in my last assignment yesterday, which means that, well, I do have some intensive classes next week, so I'll be busy again, but the big, or the actual semesters finally finished yesterday because I turned in my last report. So today I woke up and I went to my workplace thinking that I was going to work, but when I got there, it turned out that they were closed down. I work at a kind of kindergarten teaching English to kids, but I didn't realize that it's the Obon. It's a specific holiday in Japan right now, which means that like most places are closed down, schools and stuff. So I came to my workplace and then I realized that, there's no one here. And that was a little, yeah, I texted one of the staff from the school and it was like, hey, no one is here, but we're having classes today, right? And then she replied, oh, sorry, no classes today. And I guess it was my fault for not checking the schedule properly, but since I had gone all the way to that station where I work, I figured that I could go to a secondhand store and check out some clothes from the secondhand store. And I did, and I ended up getting a lot of things. Again, if you've seen my Instagram stories, you might have seen a little bit of that. But yeah, so I went to a secondhand store, spent like maybe 40, 50 minutes there just walking around. And yeah, so I guess it ended well. I went there to go to work, no work, but I still had a good time there. So it wasn't for nothing spending the train ticket money. Okay. Congratulations on the semester. Thank you. I managed to do it. My third semester in my university. I did it. I do like to sleep early, but I had to work on. Oh, I see. Yeah, I just finished all of that. Thank God. Obong. My Japanese favorite food. Thank you for the question. And my Japanese favorite food. I love okonomiyaki, and like before, like maybe a year or so ago, when anyone asked like, "What's your favorite Japanese food?" I would say okonomiyaki, but I think that's probably changed. I like uh, I like Japanese meat, so like yakiniku. I like soba and somen. And recently, me and my boyfriend have like eaten a lot of somen, which is like Japanese cold noodles that you eat with like not it's not a sauce, it's like dressing. I don't know what it's called in tsu, yeah, in English. But anyways, and it's really fresh and it's nice when hot outside. So maybe those foods, yeah. Oh, you have a holiday in Spain too? Okay. What's the holiday? Congratulations. Thank you. Sorry, I'm late. I'm from Japan. Saya kaya ho. This is my friend who I spent today with. I'm going to talk more about that later, though. I thought you were younger. I know. I look younger. I think people assume that I'm in like just around 20, but I'm actually 24. I don't know if it's good or bad that I look younger, but Niku. We actually never had quarantine in Japan. I know that in some other countries, like I have a friend, my Niku friend in the comments from Paula from the Philippines. She went to the Philippines and had to go into complete lockdown, but we never had like locked or quarantine lockdown in Japan. Like they just kind of advised us to like not go outside more than necessary. And now I have to say that the Japanese government is not doing the best job of keeping people inside and making sure that people are taking care of themselves and like each other, because quite a lot of people are just moving around freely in bars and pubs, and I don't know if clubs are open, but I think so. And yeah, I was hoping for Japan to be a little more. I mean, you do feel kind of safe because people are wearing masks and stuff, but yeah, it's still I wish we were a little more quarantined than we are, to be honest. Yeah, probably. Yeah. When are you coming to Kumamoto or Fukuoka? Soon, hopefully. I wanted to go to Kumamoto or Fukuoka this summer, but that's probably not gonna happen now. 兄ちゃん待ってて。今年は行きたいと思うよ。青? When do you think travel ban will be lifted? I have no idea when it will be lifted. Like I keep checking the news and it seems like they keep like extending the travel ban. And I don't have like specific information on this, so I can't really say anything, but I think that they are starting to let in specific people, maybe people with like permanent residency into Japan again. I mean, I really feel for everyone who plans to go to Japan, especially to come here and study or work. But I do think that, and not just Japan, but all over the world, like people should not be traveling yet. Yeah, I feel like I don't have enough like knowledge and information to be able to like say like exactly when, but I think like for the fall semester yeah, because cases are going up in Japan again. So I think maybe until the end of this year or something. It's kind of scary to like talk about that because I don't really know what I'm talking about, but okay, we got Okay. Hello. Let's keep politics out of this chat, okay? When your Japanese wasn't as good, did you ever accidentally say something insulting or embarrassing to someone? I don't think I said something insulting, as in like I used a word wrong or I said a word. I was supposed to say one word, but it came out as a like rude word. But I think that I have been using Japan like grammatically in a way that's a little rude. Like, sometimes when you're supposed to use keigo, like polite Japanese to talk with people, I think in the beginning, because when I lived in Kumamoto as a high school exchange student, I I didn't want to use keigo for some reason. Like in my head, it was like, keigo means that there's this wall between me and the person I'm talking to, and I want to be friendly with everyone, no matter the age. So why should I use it? So I think even though I knew how to use keigo, I didn't use it as much as I should have, and I probably came off as like a little rude to some maybe elders that I spoke more like friendly, casually with. But I don't think I've ever misused a word that was like impolite. Yeah, I hope not. Not as far as I know. Do you run into a lot of nampa? Okay, no. And I'm very happy about that. I've had one experience of nampa in person, and I have had two experiences of nampa on like through message on Facebook. And the one nampa experience I had was in Fukuoka. I was in a park in the center of Fukuoka. It's called Keigo Koen. And a guy came up to me and he was like, in English, I think. Yeah, I think it was English. Like, hey, are you Russian? And I was like, no, I'm from Sweden. And then he said, oh, because I'm studying Russian and blah, blah, blah. And we started talking about languages. Like he was in his 50s or something. He was pretty nice though. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll talk with him for a bit. And I talked with him, and all of a sudden he's like, do you want to go on a date with me? And I was so taken aback. I was like, no, like, I have a boyfriend. Like, no, I'm not like interested. No, thank you. And he kind of dropped it. And for some reason, I kept talking with him because he wasn't like scary or anything. And so he kept talking. And then one more time, he was like, so do you want to go on a date? And I was like, no, I'm good. Like, it's kind of, age difference, and I don't want to be rude, and then I managed to finish up the conversation and get out of there. So that's my only experience having nampa in real, like in person. And then I've had two times where guys have written to me on Facebook and started chatting, and they seemed nice, and all of a sudden they started asking for really inappropriate things. So, but all of that happened in Fukuoka, and I haven't had anything happen since I came to Kanagawa. Thank God. Yeah, those are my nampa stories. I hear most of Japan is like an oven in the summer. That's actually one thing I have. I have a little list here on my phone of things that I plan to talk about, and that is one thing. It is an oven. It's so hot. I think even for like other Asian people coming from hot countries, like I think Japan has like more humid weather than a lot of other countries. So yeah, it's definitely like an oven. Like the rainy season this year was longer than it usually finishes around like mid-July, but this year it went all through. Started in mid-June, went through all of July, and when it finished, like just a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago or so, the heat just came like bah, and now it's like 33 to 36, 37 degrees, at least up in here in Kanagawa every day. And if you look on the weather app, I have an iPhone, so if you look on the weather app, it says like feels like, and it's set up to like feels like 45, feels like 46. Yeah. It's really hot, unfortunately. So I'm just trying to stay inside and using fans. Oh, I actually got one today. They usually give these fans out on stations, and they're actually like for, I guess, some kind of promotion for different companies. But if you get one, you'll take it. And this is a lifesaver in summer. So yeah, that's a little Japan fact. If you come here in summer, you'll probably get fans. Hey, Nickel, Piga. Hey. It's currently 9:19 for me. What's the feature of Japanese you want to tell us? Too much modest? I'm not really sure what you're asking. What if Japanese people are modest? Because I don't necessarily think that they are. Maybe in like working situations or like very polite, like formal situations. But other than that, I don't think they're necessarily very like modest. I think they're pretty like outspoken and crazy too, just like any other people. Um, Kawaii is scary, right? Yes, kawaii. Oh, but it's just one eye, not two. I know it thanks to. Oh, yeah, I don't know. My Japanese students remember one time when she was visiting Japan, I started to call video call. I think I have done that too. Like trying to say, I don't know if I've said kawaii for kawaii, like scary for cute, but I think that when I've wanted to say scary, like kawaii, I think I've said kawaii instead. Like, oh no, that's so scary. That's so kawaii. Like, yeah, I think that's probably happened because those are too similar. Too similar. I once meant to say gokong, gokang, go shout to the gokang. I don't know what gokang means. Can you tell me? Actually, I don't know what gokang means. Can you show me the kanji maybe? I'm going to Japan next year, thinking of a budget. Is it more expensive than Sweden? No, Japan is generally cheaper than Sweden. Transportation and food. And the thing that I've found living in Japan about buying food is that if you buy food that is like produced locally in Japan and that is like kind of Japanese staple foods like rice and beans and whatnot, that is pretty cheap. But if you want to get foods like maybe cheese or like yogurt or other things like that that are more like I guess Western, it gets a little more expensive. So if you want to live on like a cheap budget, you should try to make more Japanese like traditional food than Western food. But yeah, generally I think Japan is cheaper. Like clothes, shopping is cheaper. Transportation generally cheaper. Yeah, but then again, like if you have a part-time job, the salary is also cheaper. So I guess it kind of balances out. Would you like to learn other languages? Japanese is hard as it is, but just curious. Actually, yes. I don't think I've talked about this in any of my videos, but I learned French, or I took French in school, and I still remember a little bit. I don't know if I have anyone watching from France or who speak French right now, but I do speak a little bit of French, and I understand more than I can speak. But if I ever like were to study another language, that would definitely be French because I really do want to learn French and become fluent. I think it's a beautiful language. The grammar is a little difficult, but it's such a fun language to speak. And I've been to France or just Paris, I guess, once, but I really have really enjoyed like the encounters with French people that I've had. So French is definitely like the next language I would learn. And then other than that, maybe like Korean. Like I'm not necessarily super interested in Korea, but I think that the language sounds really nice. And I've heard that it's pretty similar to Japanese as well with the grammar. And I have tried to learn the writing system before, and it was really easy compared to learning the Japanese writing system. So French and maybe Korean as well. But my number one is French, definitely. こんばんは、ヨハナさん。卒業しましたか? No, I will graduate in 2023. But if what you mean is, oh, I just saw, okay. If what you mean is if my semester finished, then yes, it finished. The classes finished like a week ago. But I turned in my last assignment just yesterday. I was kind of procrastinating on that, to be honest. Gokan. Okay. I've learned a new word as well. Hopefully I won't have to use that word in any normal conversations. But okay, thank you for teaching me a new Japanese word, I guess. Hi, Steven. I'm good. I'm a little tired. I haven't got into this. I'm I was talking about my day and then I got a bunch of questions that I've been answering, but I have been to the beach. I just came home like 1.5 hours ago from the beach. So I'm a little tired, as you are after a day at the beach, you know, enjoying the sun, going swimming. Um, but I've managed to get hopefully all the sand off me. So yes, I'm really good. I've had a great day. So I feel very like peaceful. And I'm really excited to have the live too. Um, yeah, it's cool. Okay, I'm gonna keep talking a little bit about my day, I guess. Like I said, I went home from the secondhand store. If you want to see what I got, I have it right here, I think. So if anyone is interested, I guess I can show it later. But and then I texted one of my friends, like, "Hey, I'm going to the beach later. Do you want to join?" And she said yes. So we decided to go around 3:30. And so I had some time. So I actually watched The Little Mermaid because I joined Disney Plus just a few days ago, like for the first like free trial month. And so I've kind of started to rewatch some old Disney classics that I love. So I watched The Little Mermaid and then got ready and then I went to the beach with my friend and we had a great time at the beach. Tabung. I think she's watching right now too. Sayaka, hello. Thank you for today. Kyo arigato ne. Do you procrastinate a lot? I do, as you might have noticed from me doing finals at 4 a.m. Unfortunately, yes, I do. It's a part of my personality. I don't know if that's like kind of blaming it. Like I don't know if it's good to blame it on my personality, but I'm definitely a procrastinating kind of person, for sure. I am an ENFP, by the way, if anyone is interested in Myers-Briggs. So maybe that has some connections to like, or maybe that is kind of telling of why I procrastinate. I don't know if you guys know about MBTI, but yeah, if you do, I'm an ENFP, and that should probably say a little bit. And how has jobs been for those in language school or college in Japan? Actually, I don't know. I haven't heard anything from any friends in language schools about work. But as for the foreign students in my university, a lot of them work in restaurants, and they have definitely been struggling. I know one of my friends, he worked in 2 different restaurants, and one of them had to completely shut down because they weren't getting enough like money, so they actually had to shut down the store like completely. So he lost that job, and he's working at another place, an izakaya, or like a pub, I guess, and he has had reduced working hours there. So I don't know how it's like for people who are like have started to look for jobs in like part-time jobs in like after the virus started, but for people who had jobs from before, some of them have definitely been affected. Even me, I was affected. I started working at my job, which is a school, and then they had to shut down for 2 months. I couldn't work for 2 months. It was right after I had just started working. So yeah, we're definitely affected by this, as I guess like people are all over the world, and it's definitely a stressful situation. But we do get some financial aid from the government. So I think it kind of weighs out the struggles we have had a little bit, at least. I started learning Japanese last year in high school. I'm very interested in explaining my words. Any suggestions? I think that you should start if you are serious about learning Japanese and you want to like, become fluent or become at least advanced. Then I think one advice for me is to not wait to start studying kanji, because as you probably know, there are lots and lots and lots and lots of kanjis to learn, and it does take quite a while, especially in the beginning where you're not used to learning kanji. Like there's a pretty big it's pretty rough in the start because you don't know anything. Like when you've learned a couple of hundred of kanjis, you kind of know the system, the basic strokes, and it's easier to remember them. It's easy to know how to write them. But in the beginning, it's pretty overwhelming. So I would definitely recommend you to start learning kanji like pretty early on if you're actually planning on getting to an advanced level, that your levels don't, so that they balance, so that you're not, improving your speaking or listening skills a lot and your kanji level is still really low. That's definitely one tip that or advice that I think is really useful and important. Also start with listening practice by watching YouTube videos and maybe some movies with Japanese subtitles plus Japanese, like, what is it called? Japanese with Japanese subtitles. That might be a little hard if you're like beginner, but that's something I recommend to do early on as well, to like practice listening, practice reading, and yeah, like don't procrastinate on the hard things because it's just going to be even harder later on. Funny, I'm talking about not procrastinating when I just said I'm a big procrastinator. Hannah, I first went to Japan to learn Japanese. What are you studying in university now? My program is called Media and Communication. So I'm studying, of course, media is very broad, and within my program, we have a lot of freedom to choose like what within the media like world that we want to study. I'm more at the moment focused on TV, television production, like broadcasting. I've done some radio things. I'm also in a broadcasting club in my school, and yeah, like TV production, how the TV world works, and editing, like some commercial things I've done as well. But I think that we're gonna go more into like our specific fields in the next semester and in the third year. So I'm still kind of doing a lot of different things, like some social research and analyzing like I analyzed commercials in one of the classes I had this semester. So basically it's like a lot of media stuff. It's a lot of fun. Konbanwa, what's your favorite komini? That is a great question. I actually like asking people this question too. It's kind of like, are you a dog person or are you a cat person? It's kind of the same thing with convenience stores in Japan. There are three major, for you who don't know, three major convenience stores in Japan. We have 7-Eleven, Family Mart, and Lawson. And when I first came to Japan, my favorite, I think it's like always based on which one is the closest to me where I live. Because when I first came to Japan, I had 7-Eleven closest, so I knew like what they sold. Like I knew, you know, their bread and their foods and snacks and drinks and stuff the most. So that was my favorite. Then when I moved to Fukuoka, I had a Family Mart on the way to school because I also walked to school. So I would go to Family Mart every day. And then for like, 2 years, my favorite was Family Mart, but now I think it's probably back to 7-Eleven again. So I think my final answer is 7-Eleven. They have some really nice drinks in 7-Eleven. I think that's a big plus. Thank you for all the comments. Wow, I'm so happy that I'm getting comments. And do you have favorite kanji? That is a good question. There are kanji characters that I really like. If I like a kanji, that is only because I like writing it. And if I dislike a kanji, it's generally because it's really hard to write. I don't put that much like importance on, you know, the meaning or the pronunciation. It's more the like how to write it. But I can't think of it. It's always like this when people ask me. Like when I write them, I always think like, oh, I like this kanji. I should remember this if people ask me. But then I always forget. So I'm sorry. I should probably think of that and make a video. Like I want to make more videos talking about kanji because I do think that people are interested. Let me know if you are interested in more videos about kanji, like studying, I don't know, anything kanji related. Yeah, let me know. I'm going to definitely think of some videos about kanji as well. It's been hectic. A lot of people lost their jobs and we're basically in lockdown since March. Have you been in lockdown? Sorry for the late answer. I don't know when you sent this, Crystal, but have you been in lockdown since March? Like, have you been like kind of locked up all the way since March? Or, you know, have you had like kind of looser guidelines and have you been able to go out at all during this time? Or has it been as strict the whole time? Let me know. Could you recommend some books to study Japanese? Please. Well, I guess I have my video when I go to Japanese bookstore, and I do bring up all the books that I have used and enjoyed myself in that video. But Matome books for learning grammar and vocabulary and yeah. I'm sorry, but yeah, just watch that. Like, there's so much information in that video, so I would recommend you to go watch it. It's a video where I go and visit a Japanese bookstore, and it's pretty easy to spot because that video has way more views than any of my other videos. Yeah, go watch that. I'm preparing for JLPT, and for any advice, I want to finish my preparation in a week. By a week, do you mean in a week? Like, I mean, I think JLPT M4 is the same thing that goes for preparing for any JLPT test. Just make sure that you know. I mean, just go through. If you have any books, I think if you are actually planning to take the test, I really would recommend you to have books. I think the Japanese can be learned by using online resources as well. But if you're actually planning to take the test, I would definitely recommend you to get books that are specifically for the JLPT for that level. And so just go through I think that kanji is not as important as grammar and listening and reading. Because kanji vocabulary is one part. Of course, it's important, but kanji itself, like the reading, is not tested as much as like your ability to read and like your speed of reading. And of course, listening is like one section of itself, or reading is one section of itself. So I would recommend like try to practice reading small texts. If you have a book, usually you get small texts like in the book. Yes, just like go through all of the parts of the JLPT over and over. Don't focus on speaking and don't focus on writing because those two do not come up on the test. Yeah, I think those are my general tips for the tests themselves. I'm probably going to make another video of like how I prepared for N2 and N1 because that was a pretty intense experience. But yeah, enough about that for now. Nickel, pika pika. I love Japanese pastries. They're so creative. Do you have any favorites? Generally, I'm not like a sweet tooth kind of person. I prefer savory snacks more than sweet. But I love Japanese mochi. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but mochi is basically like pounded rice. It's really sticky, and you can eat it just as it is. You can put some kind of sauce on, or there's something called daifuku where they put a paste of red beans, which is sweet, inside the mochi, and then maybe sometimes they add strawberries or other things, and it's so delicious. It's not big. Usually it's like around this size, and I think like eating one makes you like you're satisfied with just one, but it's such a perfect, amazingly like the texture is amazing, and yeah, I think that's my favorite like Japanese. I don't know if you can call it a pastry, but yeah, that's my favorite. I don't like whipped cream, or so I don't eat a lot of cakes and stuff, but okay, thank you for answering each other's comments too. How much English is used in Japan, your classroom, and where you work? In Japan, not that much in general. Like people conversate only in Japanese if they are Japanese. Most of the things that are happening in Japanese, so not a lot of Japanese like in the society between Japanese people. And in my classroom, zero. I study everything in Japanese. So the teachers don't speak English at all. Like sometimes they might bring up English words, but they never talk to the students in English. So that's zero. And where I work, mainly English. I work, like I said before, as a teacher teaching English in Japanese kindergarten. And so all of the teachers, most of them are Japanese, but they all speak English. And there are some teachers from other countries like America as well, and they speak English. And the main like language used there, I guess, is English. So at my workplace, I use quite a lot of English. Thanks for the advice. You're welcome. Okay, I'll make a video I'll think of some videos of kanji. When you first moved to Japan, how long was it before you were able to get a job? Was it hard at the time? So when I first came to Japan, I came, like I said before, like a high school exchange student. So I did not work like for the first year or 10 months that I was in Japan. And so when I came back to Fukuoka and started my language school, I already had N4, N3-ish level Japanese knowledge. So I came to Fukuoka in April, and I started my first part-time job in August of the same year. I started to work in an Italian restaurant as a hall staff. And wait, what was the question? I'm sorry. Was it hard at the time with the stress and the way to secure one? Yeah, I was pretty stressed about finding a job. But I actually found a job through another friend in my language school who introduced me. She said that her boss was looking for other people to work, and so I said I want to work, and then I joined. So it wasn't hard to like. I looked for some jobs by myself for a while, and that was pretty hard. But then, yeah, she came with the suggestion, and I took it. So, but it was a little stressful, yeah, before I got it, like going to interviews and stuff. Check out my Insta. Okay, everyone, if you're interested, we got some Japanese language tips, so check out that. I love your book review video. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm very happy about it too. It was the first video. Oh, thank you so much. I'm really happy that that video took off. Actually, that was one of the first ideas for a video that I ever had. Like, I knew that I wanted to make before I started making anything. I knew that I wanted to make a video or videos of talking about my experience with the JLPT tests and how I studied for it. And I knew that I wanted to make a video going into a Japanese bookstore. So this was all the way back in 2018 that I was thinking about this. And finally, when I moved up here, I was able to make that video with my Malaysian friend, Krizan. She was behind the camera. Hopefully, she will be able to come in front of the camera soon. I would love to introduce her and my other amazing friends here as well. So I have some ideas planned for my friends to come into videos as well. So look forward to that. You will be able to see the bookstore cameraman in front of the camera, hopefully soon. Hello from Germany. Hello. Guten Tag. Dankeschön. Bitte. Ich liebe dich. That's all I can say. Although German and Swedish are kind of similar. We had like 2 weeks period in July. The lockdowns lifted. Yeah, I mean, I think if there are a lot of cases, like, it's not a bad thing in that way that there's a lockdown, but like people start to, like, I know just for myself, like when in March and April and April and May, I did not go outside like at all. I did not leave this area. I did not take a bus or train for over 2 months, and it was pretty draining to not be able to meet people. I'm a very social person, but I think even if you're not, it's probably still pretty difficult. So I hope you're hanging in there and doing well. Hej Anna, tack så jättemycket från Danmark, vad roligt. Jag har någon som kollar från Danmark också. Tack så jättemycket. Thank you. What level do you recommend getting before language school? At least N5. Well, I don't think I would recommend a specific level, but I would rather say when you decide to go to your language school, when you apply, like start study as soon as you decide to go. Because if you start studying before coming to, like, of course it's, you go to language school to learn the language. So you might think, why should I learn the language before going to the language school? But the thing is that if you learn and get your skills up before you actually start, when you come to your language school, you will have to take a test for them to assess your level. And if you are a complete beginner, you will be put in the beginner class. But in my case, or as like coming with some experience already, you take the test and they see that maybe you haven't or like something equivalent to that already. It doesn't have to be like JLPT related, they're just testing your skills in general, speaking as well. And if they see that your level is above beginner, then they might place you in a class that is a little more advanced. And of course, like, that means that if you start, let's say that you start with N4 instead of N5, then you will complete N4 faster. You will be able to complete N3 faster and N2. And in the end, that means that in the 1 or 2 years that you're in your language school, you will be able to get up to a higher level of Japanese than you would have if you started in the beginner class. And that's because, like, obviously the beginner class will move in a specific pace. And like, even if you yourself, you want to start N2, for example, if your class is not at that level yet, you are kind of forced to study what your class is studying. I know in some cases when students have advanced a lot, they've been able to move up to classes. But yeah, I think that if you learn a lot of Japanese before, like, coming, you will have a bigger chance of like, passing into or passing N1 at the end of, depending on how long you're studying. So I don't have like an advice for like exactly how much you should study. You should definitely learn hiragana, katakana, and some basic grammar, some basic words, so that you won't be too overwhelmed when you come. But just, I would say, study as much as possible, so you'll be able to like advance more and make more out of your time in language school, I guess. That was a long answer. Okay. I'm getting so many comments. Thank you, guys. Do you read any books, novels in Japanese? That's actually a funny you asked. Actually, I was reading a book actually today, and I don't know if you might recognize this book here. I'm reading Harry Potter in Japanese. I actually got this book when I was in Kumamoto, so it was a long time ago. But I'm not a good reader. I read a lot when I was like an early, like young teenager, but I haven't read for a long time. But I've had this book lying around for such a long time, and yeah, as you can see, it's Japanese. It's not the kanji and everything. Like they have a lot of furigana, which means like they have. I don't know if you can see, but they have like hiragana next to the kanji, so that if you can't read the kanjis, you can at least read the pronunciation and know what it means. So it's a pretty easy to read book. And of course, I know the story. I've read Harry Potter, all the books in Swedish and in English. So I know the story pretty well. And yeah, I'm not reading any Japanese books like by Japanese authors in Japanese right now. I have read Norwegian Wood, though, by Murakami. And Banana Yoshimoto, I know that author, but I haven't read any books. Is it? I think it's a girl. I don't know. I haven't read her books or his books. I don't know. But yeah, I'm reading Harry Potter right now. And it's an adventure. I love Harry Potter. And would you like to recommend some books for JLPT N4 level reading? Books for reading? That's a good question. I don't think I've used any books specifically for learning to read. We never really had that in my language school. Actually, I should probably look up that. I'm sorry, I can't really answer that right now because I haven't actually, that's true. I haven't used any books specifically for reading. Like when I was in my language school, we did not only use books, but they would give us handouts and prints from books that the teachers had. So instead of like giving us the whole book, they would just print pages and give us that for exercise. So probably we used some prints from books that I never saw. Yeah, so I'm sorry, I can't really answer that. Oh yeah, manga is not good if you want to learn how to read. It's like you should have a book probably that's like specifically made for that. Do you have any favorite Japanese YouTubers? Oh, about Japanese culture, language. Okay, my favorite like YouTuber that's living in Japan is Mikaela in Japan. Maybe some of you know her. She lives in Fukuoka, and she makes a lot of videos like talking about Japanese culture and specifically introducing Fukuoka and Kyushu. And I've actually met her once, talked to her, and I've talked to her a little bit on Instagram and stuff. She's so nice, and I've watched her videos since I think 2013 or something. Such a cool person, so nice, really professional with her videos. So that's definitely my favorite. I do like Charlotte in Japan too, which is one of the other oldies and abroad in Japan. But Mikaela in Japan is definitely my favorite for sure. Yukimi Daifuku. Okay. The Japanese language school in Japan focus more on getting students to pass Japanese test. That's a good question. I think that maybe both, like especially the like months, because the JLPT test in Japan is held in July and in December. And especially like the 1-2 months before the test, there's a lot of focus on the test and less focus on like everything else. Like we still have normal classes. Like we have a schedule where we have classes for speaking, like conversating and all like things that are not necessarily related to JLPT. Like I don't think all the books used in language schools are like JLPT books. But when it's time for like to prepare for the JLPT test, basically everything else goes away and a lot of time is used to prepare, to kind of drill and practice for the tests, because a lot of I mean, people come to Japanese language schools for a lot of different reasons. And of course, not everyone comes because they want to pass the JLPT test, but a lot of students actually come because they want to work in Japan, or they want to do something where they actually need the like certificate, like the diploma. And so it's pretty important for a lot of students to actually be able to pass the test. That's why I think a lot of language schools are putting a pretty strong emphasis on the JLPT. There are definitely language schools out there that don't really focus on JLPT, and language schools that are more focused on conversation classes or have like a more chill learning style. And I don't know any specific schools for that. You could probably look that up on Google Nihon or Genki Dex or just Google. But I think they focus quite a lot on passing, not necessarily Japanese tests, but the JLPT for sure. But they do also, of course, teach you how to speak and everything, and things that are not necessarily related to the JLPT. Are you in school dorms if you have your own apartment? I was in a school dorm for the first 6 months, and when I was in Fukuoka. But ever since then, I have lived in apartments. This is my second apartment, and no, I'm not allowed to have a pet, unfortunately. I mean, I probably wouldn't have gotten one anyways, but it would be nice to have like I don't know, a goldfish or something. I probably could have a fish, but did you make an effort to make Japanese friends in Fukuoka? Were you comfortable? No, so it's funny, like with the gaijin bubble, like I think people who don't speak Japanese it's easier for them to end up in like like foreigner only like community. But I've always wanted to like assimilate. Like I go to an international church, for example, where there are both Japanese people and foreign people. So I've of course made Japanese friends there. I had friends since going to my Japanese high school in Kumamoto, so like Japanese friends. And like you're introduced to friends of friends and stuff. So I definitely, I have. And of course, now that I'm in university, all of my friends are Japanese because everyone there is Japanese, more or less. So I don't know if I necessarily like made an effort, like went out of my way just to make Japanese friends, but I did. Like I were in situations where there were Japanese people that I became friends with. And I do, of course, want to have Japanese friends because I think Japanese people are awesome. But I've never like made an effort to be friends with someone just because they're Japanese, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think if you speak Japanese, it's definitely easier to connect more with Japanese people. So yeah, but there are many Japanese people who want to learn English as well and who like to be friends with foreign people. So even if you don't speak that much Japanese, like you'll still be able to find Japanese people to be friends with, definitely. Boogus guy, hello. You're not well. It's fine if you're late. We're gonna do this. I was thinking to do this live for 1 or 1.5 hours, but it seems like you are all still very genki. So I think I'm gonna go for maybe 1.5 hours ish. If you still want to listen to me for that long, so stick around. Did you visit Miyazaki prefectures? I did. I went to Miyazaki maybe 3 times. I went to Aoshima Jinja. I went to, where did I go? Some onsens. Takachiho. Miyazaki is beautiful. The nature is amazing. I guess the main like attractions in Miyazaki are like nature related or like temples and stuff, not as much city life, but Miyazaki it's beautiful. I mean Kyushu, southern Japan is so beautiful in general, and I really miss it. I want to go back soon. I have that book and read the odd page every now and then. Oh, do you have it in Japanese or in English? Sorry, I'm getting so behind the comments. Thank you guys so much for sending so many comments. I want to read Harry Potter, but considering my current level of reading, I actually got this book when I was not yet very advanced, and I tried to read it, and I had to give up pretty quickly because it was just too much. Like it would take me such a long time just to go through one page. So I kind of stepped back and went on to reading some like kids magazines and kids books, and then now I can, read this without any struggle. So, but yeah, if you're at a low level, don't aim like too high because you'll just get overwhelmed. Banana is filme. You should try books. Okay, I'll do that. Oh no, sorry, I don't know that much German. Das müsste just no, I'm sorry. No, I don't know that. Dopo. No, I don't. Sorry. I should learn some more German maybe. Hello, Michael. Thank you for joining. How was the apartment hunting experience in Japan? Well, I've had like since I have looked at apartments like as a student, I've always had my school kind of help me find apartments. Like they have, recommended, what is it called in Fudosan? I forgot the English word. What is it called? Real estate agencies to me, and I've gone there. So I think if you have like a company or a school to help you, it's not that hard to find an apartment. But if you're doing it all by yourself, it's probably a little more difficult if you are a foreign person, probably. Hello, Elvis. Yeah, assimilation is really important, I think. Like if you come to Japan, it's such, I don't know if you know the expression mottainai, but I feel like it's like such a waste to not assimilate and, make friends with Japanese people since you've actually come all the way from your own country to Japan. So even if you don't speak a lot of Japanese, definitely like try to make Japanese friends. Yeah, that's really important. And Japanese people are so awesome. They're so cool. So many nice people, so many creative people, so many funny people. They have like funny personalities and yeah, just yeah. Get Japanese friends if you come here. In language school, most of the students, they're foreigners. Yeah, I mean, of course, like if you come to language schools, you're probably there because you don't know Japanese, so they will be foreign people, right? But so most of the people in my language school were foreigners. However, my language school, I don't think this is the case for most language schools. My language school was actually, it's not Fukuoka Foreign Language School, by the way, if you don't know which one I went to. It's not exactly a language school. It's a vocational school with a Japanese language program. So they had some tourism programs and business program and a program for preparing to go to Japanese university. And they also had, like I said, the Japanese program and also an English program for Japanese students, which means that there were Japanese students also at my school. Not that many, but still like enough to be able to connect with them and make friends. And so I had some Japanese friends that I made through my school. But most of the students are, of course, other foreigners. Furigana, yes. Yep. That's it. Also, what's the average age, or what was the average age? I think the youngest I knew was 19 maybe, or like, because I think you have to be 18 to start, but 19, 20 was like the average youngest age. I was 20 when I came to the language school. The oldest was probably closer to 40 or something. There were a few students, and most of the students were in their like mid to late 20s. So like, well, I think 24 to like 28, 29 was the average age, but we had a couple of students who were over 30 as well. So definitely a pretty wide age range of the students. Yeah. Yeah, so I was one of the youngest when I moved there, which was fun, I guess. Do you cook European or Japanese food mostly at home? What's your favorite Japanese dish to cook? Excellent question. I love that. For the longest time, I did not like cooking, and I'm still not a very good cook. But when I started to like go on from like supermarket and community food and started to cook myself, I definitely did more European foods. I would make a lot of pastas with sauces or just throwing in things that I liked. But recently I've actually started to try to make more Japanese food. These past few weeks, I've gotten really into tofu. And so I've tried to make different recipes using tofu because it's so cheap and it's pretty filling and really healthy. But my favorite, I don't have a favorite Japanese dish to cook right now because I'm not that good yet. But I am making a Japanese dish called mabu tofu sometimes, which has minced meat and tofu in it. And it's really good. I think I've gotten pretty good at that. Yeah, but I need to learn how to cook better. I'm not that good. Are you at your current Japanese level? Do you need to look up any words per page in the Harry Potter book you're reading, or can you basically understand? I can basically understand everything, and to be honest, even if there are words, because I'm not reading this book to study. To be honest, I'm reading it to have a good time, I guess, and just like assimilate, or I don't know, like I just want to live more in Japanese, because otherwise, like a lot of the YouTube videos and dramas and stuff I'm watching is in English or Swedish, and a lot of the things I'm reading are also in English or Swedish. And so I just want to like get more Japanese into my brain daily. So I'm not necessarily reading it to learn new words. It's just more to like keep Japanese alive in my brain, I guess. So, and no, there are not a lot of words that I don't understand, but even if there are, I don't really look them up. I can kind of guess the meaning anyway. So I do learn some words without looking them up, because I can kind of guess the meaning of them when I read the book. But no, I don't sit like with my dictionary looking up words. I don't know if I should, but you never had a good time for that. You have pets, plants. Oh, that's a good comment. I do have some plants, and I guess I would call them my pets. I don't know. I don't have any that are close enough to be able to show them to you right now, but I do have some, and they are like my pets. That's true. Hello, Ennis. Ennis. I'm sorry, I never know how to pronounce that, your name, or I feel like I would get addicted to convenience store food. I know. It's pretty healthy, considered it being like, produce like convenience store food, and they have, I think the best thing is that they have such a big variety of food as well. They like, of course, they have a lot of snacks too, but they have salads and pastas and what curry and soups and noodles and so many things. And if there's something like you need to get heated, they heat it for you. It's so convenient and it's so good. So I think that's why also I was, just getting convenience store food and supermarket food for the longest time. But it's really expensive compared to cooking for yourself. So I definitely don't recommend living off of convenience stores. I really regret that I did that for such a long time, because I feel like I like wasted quite a lot of money on that. Are you planning to stay in Japan? Are you planning to stay in Japan long term? I am actually, as of right now, and as of like my dream from a very young age was to move to Japan and live in Japan. And even before I even came to Japan for the first time, like I saw myself, living my life, spending, in the future as well, like spending my time in Japan, and that has not changed since coming here. Yeah, right now I have no plans on going back to Sweden at all. Like that's why I'm in a Japanese university, because I wanted to get a job here with a degree, and I figured that getting a degree in Japan would be the best opportunity, like, or give me the best opportunities for a job. And so that's why I also went to language school to learn the language. So yeah, I'm investing a lot of money and time into like my future in Japan. So I'm definitely staying here for quite a while. You never know what happens in the future, but yeah, I don't have any plans on going back to Sweden, only then to visit my friends and family. How's your family doing with all the virus stuff? Are you planning to visit them soon? Well, so I come from southern Sweden, and apparently the virus situation has not been as bad in southern Sweden as it has in like around Stockholm and the biggest areas. And so I'm not really worried about my family. They seem to be doing fine. My grandparents are also staying safe, being really careful. Like I Skyped with them a little while ago, and they said that they were like, wearing masks when they went into like the supermarket and went like really early in the morning and stuff. So I think they're all doing fine. And I was initially not planning on visiting them this year. So it's not like, any plans have had to get canceled, or I've had to cancel anything, but I want to go to Sweden next year. So hopefully I will be able to go. I think I could go to Sweden right now, but the problem is that I don't think I would be able to come back into Japan again, and I would be stuck in Sweden, and that doesn't really work since I have school and a job here. So yeah, I hope I can go to Sweden next spring or summer, but we'll see. I know it's not really socially normal, but do you ever talk to random strangers in Japan? No, I don't really. Like, the only situation I could think of when I would do that is probably, if someone is walking with a cute dog, I would like say cute dog or something. But no, I don't really talk to Japanese people like that. I don't do that. Like, that's not like a Swedish thing either. So I think it's not really in my culture to do that. Like, I know for a lot of other Westerners, like maybe American people, have an easier time and are more used to just speaking to random people, but that's not really a thing in my culture either. So no, I don't really do that. I do get like, talked to or asked random questions sometimes. I don't really go to pubs or izakayas because I don't drink alcohol, so I don't usually go to places where they have a lot of alcohol. But if I go to places like that, yeah, sometimes people will, come up to talk to me in English or in Japanese and ask where I'm from and stuff. But I don't do it myself. No, I think I don't want to scare Japanese people either. A lot of people are still not that used to foreigners, so maybe they would be like, "Oh no, are they going to speak English to me now?" I don't want to give them that shock either, I guess. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Hi, technical. Is that Bacha? I read it as Baka. Sorry. Konbanwa. Hello. What's your dream job? Ooh, that is a good question. I do not have a specific dream job that I can say, like, I want to be I don't know, a nurse or something. What I do know is I want to work with people. Like, I love being of help. That's also one of the reasons why I made this channel, to be of help, and to like contribute and to provide something of value to others. So I want to do that in some form. I also want to work with people. Like, I could never, sit in an office or be in the same environment every day. I want something where I can move around. And I think that the media industry definitely would give me opportunities to do that. But like I mentioned before, I am studying media and communication, but I don't even know if that's what I will end up working with in the future. Like, I'm very open to many different kinds of jobs, and as long as they fulfill the things I want to do, like being able to meet and communicate with a lot of people and be able to be of help in some way, then I'm open to do, I think, quite a lot of things. I've never had like a big dream job. When I was a kid, I wanted to work in a zoo as a zookeeper because I love animals, and in high school I wanted to be a journalist, and I've had like different jobs that I've thought about, but I don't have like specific dream job. It would be easier if I did, though. Sometimes it's hard not to have like the dream job, because it would be easier to know exactly what you're striving for. But yeah, that's how it is. What is the biggest foreigner community in Japan? I don't. What do you mean by foreigner community? I don't really like. There are many different communities, but it's not like it's. I mean, I guess there are some forums online, but foreign communities is more like people in different areas, like finding each other online or through like pubs and stuff, and then just starting to meet together. I don't think there's anything like super official for a foreign community, so I don't really know. Hey, Mordu. Those are one or two words I know. Perfect. Jag mår jättebra. Good Swedish. I know profanity words in Swedish because of PewDiePie. That's like, I haven't watched a lot of PewDiePie, but I've seen some of his videos where he swears a lot in Swedish. And yeah, I guess a lot of people who are, internet people know some words in Swedish that you probably shouldn't use. Do you listen to audiobooks in Japanese? If yes, when I can find them. I don't, but I probably should. Like, I love audiobooks, and English and Swedish, listen to it all the time. I've listened to the first 3 books of Game of Thrones, like, as an audiobook in English, and in high school, that's, like, all I did. I went to the library, I got audiobooks and listened, like, every day, but in Japanese, I don't know where to find them. I don't know if audiobooks is such a big thing in Japan. Like, whenever I tell people that I like audiobooks, they're like, I have to explain what an audiobook is, because they're like, they don't really understand, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I kind of get it. But so I don't really know. I've actually haven't thought about getting audiobooks before. That's a good question, though. Um, what about Japanese street food? Do you like it? Yes, for sure. Japanese summer festivals, unfortunately, all canceled this year. They're so great because you will have all these. It's called yatai or food stalls. Lined up in like long rows, like along the streets. And you will have all kinds of like yakisoba and um, curry, maybe like kebab in some places, which is not Japanese, but and different kinds of sweets, and it's great. I love it. I wish they had summer festivals this year, but yeah, Japanese street food is really nice. Uh, are there many other similarities of Japanese culture and Swedish culture? I think, like I mentioned, with not really talking to people is one thing, and I think that Swedish and Japanese people are pretty similar in the way that we are pretty private people. I'm not a very Swedish person in many ways, I think. So I don't think take me as the example of what a Swedish person is like. I think I'm a bit more like outgoing and like open maybe. Um, but Swedish people in general are pretty, they care about privacy like Japanese people, don't invade my personal space. We don't like sitting next to each other on the bus. So a lot of people would rather stand up than sit next to someone else on the bus. And, we don't want to talk too much with our neighbors, and maybe avoid saying hello if possible. And those kind of things I think are pretty similar between Swedish and Japanese people. Not very loud, can seem a little cold or distant at first, but very warm and kind when you get to know them. Yeah, I think that's a pretty fun similarity between Swedish and Japanese people since we're so like located in such different places in the world. But yeah, so in that way, I guess I feel kind of at home in Japan too, because I don't have to be like I like people talking to me and stuff, but it's still that kind of familiarity that is pretty nice. Living in Japan as well. Is there another language you want to learn now that you're Japanese at a high level? I talked about this earlier in the video, but I would like to learn French or speak a little bit of French already. I studied it in school, but I would like to. I mean, I say I would like to. Like, if I really wanted to, I would probably already be studying it. But it would be cool if I could speak French as well. Anime could be audiobooks, maybe. I guess. But then again, so could movies and dramas be too. Any TV series that you're currently watching, and is Japanese TV as bad as everyone says? Good question. I'm watching right now. I mean, I have my favorite shows, but some of them finished this year, like How to Get Away with Murder, Game of Thrones finished earlier. I actually started watching anime again. That's a pretty big thing that happened. Last week, I think, I started to rewatch the first season of Attack on Titan. And for the first time ever, I watched anime with Japanese subtitles and like Japanese dub and Japanese subtitles and no English. And it's really cool to do that. I've never watched Japanese without English subtitles, and I started to watch Attack on Titan because I don't know, I haven't watched anime in like 5 or 6 years, but I just felt like it. And I noticed that, oh, I understand this if I just have the subtitles so I can read along. And yeah, so Attack on Titan is a show that I've been watching recently too, and it's so good. So that's exciting. And is Japanese TV as bad as everyone says? Actually, I don't have a TV in my apartment because I have enough entertainment on my phone and computer as it is. But yeah, like Japanese variety is pretty low quality. Of course, there are some good shows and there are some quality shows and funny shows, but I would say like generally Japanese TV is pretty like low quality. Like a lot of times when you watch Japanese TV, you're like, who thought of this idea? Or like, this is not even interesting. Yeah, but I haven't watched like Japanese TV in a very long time because I don't have a television. You can watch some Japanese TV online if you live in Japan or have a VPN, but I don't really do that. I have enough to watch as it is with YouTube and Netflix and movies and whatever. Okay, guys, let's go for 15 more minutes. I'm having such a great time with this, but I feel like I shouldn't go on for too long. I'll probably do another live stream again at, when I reach, I don't know, 3,000 subscribers or something else, but I probably shouldn't go on for too long, even though I'm having such a good time. So let's do 15 more minutes until 10:30, and then let's call it the day for this time. But let's answer some more questions. What do you know about indigenous Japanese people and culture? Ainu, for example. And do you know? Oh, I wish I knew more about Ainu. I know a little bit. I've been to some museums and I learned. I went to a museum in Tokyo last year for one of my university courses. And then one part of the museum was about the Ainu people. So I learned a bit there and I got interested and started to read a little bit more. But I don't know that much. And I feel like I should probably know more. I do know about Samis in Sweden. We have learned about that in school, and I have been interested, like watching shows and reading about it, and kind of understanding their current situation in society and like oppression and things they're struggling with and their history. So I think I know more. Yeah, I know a bit about Sami, like Swedish indigenous people, but I think I should probably learn more. Attack on Titan is one of my favorites. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's I have to close my eyes a little bit in some of the scenes because they're little too gory for me when they're eating people and stuff. But generally, I think it's such a good show, such good characters, music, animation. Yeah, it's a show in my taste. Recent subscriber, loving your videos. Thank you. I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy that people are actually watching and enjoying my videos. And I don't know what makes everyone subscribe. If it's the what I'm saying or my personality, or actually, yeah, maybe you who are watching right now could like tell me in the comments like why did you subscribe? Because I have no idea, and I would like to know kind of what to emphasize on on my videos in the future. If I should get more personal and more of my personality, or if I should, more just content based, or yeah, just let me know. I'm really curious. One Punch Man. I've heard people say that it's good, but yeah, I should probably like learn more about anime. I feel like I'm kind of starting to get into anime a little bit again after a long time of not watching it. So, in Japanese sub, yeah, that's really effective, and it's really good to learn kanji to watch anime in Japanese with Japanese sub because you get so many kanjis, and like I've learned quite a lot of like kind of difficult words just through that. So that's, I guess, also a tip. If you're a little more advanced speaker of Japanese, they should try to watch Japanese anime with Japanese subtitles. How did you learn? Oh, would you like to suggest some drama to learn Japanese? Oh, dramas? I don't really watch Japanese dramas. I don't know. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't. I should probably get a little more into that as well. But I don't really enjoy Japanese dramas that much. K dramas though. I watched K dramas when I was in high school, I think. I watched a few Japanese ones like Hanakimi, Hanayori Dango. I watched a Korean one. I think it was called like your not your name, your song. No, your something your. It was very short about a girl who pretended to be a boy and joined a boy band and got really popular. I don't remember the name. It was your something, and it was so popular at the time. And I watched it, and I loved it. And like watching Japanese and Korean dramas, I definitely enjoy Korean dramas more. I thought the production was better and the acting was better than the Japanese one. So I guess I've never really got into Japanese dramas because I enjoyed like the Korean ones a bit more. How would you like to suggest some drama? Yeah. Oh yeah, I read that. How did you learn English as an English learner? I'm just in Swedish people like you, master. Well, I started in a school from the age of 8, but even before that, I was watching movies and TV in English with Swedish subtitles, so I would pick up from there. And I've always been, I think, really surrounded with English as a lot of Swedish people are with, media, movies, music, books. We never use English when we speak with each other, but when like we have a lot of English around us, and I guess it's pretty common, like to well, a lot of our TV and stuff is in English. So yeah, I don't know what else would be for me personally. Like I've spent quite a lot of time in Japan abroad, with a lot of foreign friends. So I speak definitely more English than the average Swedish person would do since I live abroad. And I think personally for me, the reason why my accent sounds like this, a lot of people think I sound very American. And I think that is because I have watched so many American dramas and movies. I think I've picked up American English from there. I have had people ask me if I'm American before, which is fun because I've never been to America. But yeah, I think we just like a lot of like immersion in English in Sweden. I think that's one thing, and good English education in Sweden as well. Do you have different personalities and speaking different language? I don't think. I mean, I definitely know that my voice changes when I speak the different languages. I think I'm more kind of cool and chill when I speak English, a little more like genki and happy when I speak Japanese and Swedish. I don't know how I am when I speak Swedish. Like, cause yeah, I feel like I'm a little more cool and chill when I speak English. Maybe a little more like childish with Swedish. I don't know. I should probably like reflect on that a bit more. That's an interesting question though. Good question. Is the fashion much different in Japan than Sweden? Yeah, definitely. Swedish people like very simple fashion, like not a lot of colors and not a lot of, details or glitter or pearls or stuff like that. Like very, simple and like nude colors is very popular. While in Japan, it's a bit more like fun. And I don't know what I prefer more. Maybe I'd like Swedish, Japanese influenced Swedish fashionists. I think like I like a fusion of both of them because I don't like, very flashy clothes, but I don't want it to be too. I like a bit of color as well. So I think my fashion sense is a little more Swedish than Japanese, though, maybe. Okay, we got some recommendations for K-dramas. Congrats to the subscribers. Thank you so much, Yoshiki. Genki shite Yoshiki. I hope you're doing well. This Q&A was a lot of fun, really interesting. Thank you so much. I hope I can do one again, or I hope I will do one again because it's my channel. Thank you so much for joining. I subscribe because your personality and your content is new, fresh, and informative. Oh, thank you. That's so. I'm happy to hear. I'm trying to make videos that I haven't seen yet, or like usually when I think of an idea for a video, I will like try to search on it on YouTube and see if other people have made any similar videos. But in many cases, I don't find any other videos made like about those topics that I talk about. So it's really fun that I can be like, come with fresh things that no one has ever talked about, even if it's just, a short 5-minute video about something random. It's still fun to make videos about something that other people have not talked about before. So that's something I'm very happy about, that my channel is kind of, I guess, a little different in that way. Do Japanese people also think TV is boring? Japanese people watch a lot of TV. I don't know if they watch it because they think it's a lot of fun or if they just watch it because they don't have anything better to do. Yeah, I don't really know, actually. I think they enjoy TV. I think foreign people criticize Japanese TV a lot more than what Japanese people say about Japanese TV. I really love your personality and just your channel. Thank you so much. Personality. J-pop or K-pop? I don't listen to K-pop. I don't listen to J-pop either, but I listen to Japanese music, but not necessarily J-pop. I saw for Fukuoka, interesting your personality, like chill people talk about. Yeah, I think I would like to think that I give a pretty realistic image of Japan. Like I'm not talking about the, pop culture, or I'm just talking about my own experiences as like a person who, like non-anime fan or just like a person who's excited about being in Japan, talking about Japan. And I hope that comes through in my videos as well. Also talking about learning Japanese, because that, I have to say, I am enthusiastic about. I'm beginning Japanese, so your Japanese stuff was really recommended. Thank you. You should watch Hanazawa Naoki, which will be broadcasted tomorrow. On what channel? Hanazawa Naoki. Let me know what channel it is. Maybe I can watch it on TVer. Your personality is you. You're so nice. Wow. Thank you, guys. Agree with Steven. You're low key. Thank you. Are you on any other social media outside YouTube? Yes, I have Instagram. Sorry, thank you. I just got a friend explaining Hanazawa Naoki. Thank you so much. Ryoto, arigato. I have Instagram, and I don't post necessarily like a typical like influencer. Like, I post whatever I feel like, happening in my life if I go to the beach or if I'm bored or anything. I post mostly on stories, but if you want to follow me on Instagram, my account is Johanna Katakana, just like my YouTube name. So if you want to follow me on there, you can, just follow me on Johanna Katakana. I get messages sometimes from people watching my YouTube videos having questions or just wanting to say hello, and I always reply and love talking to you guys. So if you want to send a message, then go ahead if you haven't already. How is the weather in Tokyo compared to Kyushu? It's a little cooler. I expected it to be cooler than it is, though. Thank you, Steven. I expected it to be a little cooler than it is compared to Kyushu. Like, if you look on the weather app, it's definitely, 1 or 2 extra degrees or degrees hotter in Kyushu than it is up here. But, like, for example, I thought that maybe we would get some snow here, which I did not see in Kyushu, but it snowed like once or twice here this winter. So I don't think there's if you went up to like Hokkaido in northern Japan, there would be a bigger difference. But yeah, I was actually kind of surprised at how similar the temperatures are in here compared to Kyushu. I just stumbled on this live stream of yours. I'm loving it. Oh, thank you. That's so cool. Thank you for joining my channel. Would you ever stream your daily life, like going to the beach? Oh, that's kind of a fun idea. Just like streaming something. I could probably have a stream, having some friends over, like us speaking Japanese and playing games and stuff, if they would be okay with it. Like, not just, me sitting down and talking, but more, me with some friends streaming while playing a game or something. And then you can hear us talk in English and Japanese and whatever we would do. That would, I guess, be a fun idea. Thank you for the suggestion. I'll think about that. I've never seen snow. Oh, that is strange. As a Swedish person, like, snow, it's the best thing. It's my life. That's something I do feel quite sad about. Joining or coming to Japan, that there is no snow. I really miss snow. I'm a northerner. I need my cold and my snow. Oh, we got along. これは知っていますか? UG クランツ UG クランツ No, I don't know. NASA のとフライトディレクター。私と同じくらいあなたは質問のところなんですか? No, I don't know about this NASA person. Eugene. No. 知らないです。すみません。失敗はオプションではありません。Failure is not an option. Well, that's a good quote, but I'm sorry, I don't know this person. Seems like we are closing in on 1.5 hours. If you have anything you want to say, any last questions or any last comments, make sure to write them now and I will answer them, and then we will finish this live stream. Thank you so much for joining. I had a great time. This is my first time ever doing a live stream, and I was really nervous. If people would join or not, and if people would. That's why I prepared a lot of things on my phone to talk about, because I was like, I don't know if people are gonna actually comment, but thank you so much for actually commenting and talking with me, and I look forward to making more content. Yeah, I'll have summer break for a couple of weeks now, so I'll have more time to think and plan and film and edit and post. So look forward to that. How bad is the heat during summer? It's really bad. It's really bad. It's like over 33 degrees every day, and I try to be outside as little as possible. I did go to the beach today, but I went around 4, so it was a little cooler. And I went into the water when I felt like I got overheated. But yeah, it's pretty bad. Um, Thank you so much. I'm happy you had a good time. Just keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm gonna. Thank you, Elvis. Thank you, Jindere. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen, Crystal, Clarissa, and Chris. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's cool to have you guys following me and, commenting. I love every time you guys comment. I love getting messages on Instagram. I love talking to you. I love interacting, and I feel really happy that, like, kind of knowing who I'm making my videos for. So thank you for watching. Thank you, everyone. Enis, Hiroko. If you have any other questions, you can leave them on, in the comment section of any of my other videos, even if it's not related to the video specifically, or you can send me a message on Instagram, or save them for the next live stream. I don't know when that will be, but hopefully in a not too far away future. Okay, everyone, I'm going to finish the live stream now. Thank you so much for joining. I had a great time with you, and have a great week. Have a great weekend, rest of your weekend, I guess, and I will talk to you soon. Okay, everyone. Bye. Bye.